Hi again. So now we're going to go through our 15-minute ab series. I didn't have a mat with me, so I've just taken a couple bath towels to give me a bit of cushion with the wood floor. If you have a mat, that's great, of course, but for what we're doing today, just a couple of towels should do the trick. So I'm going to have you start laying on your back, knees bent, feet flat, sit bone distance apart, tailbones in neutral, so you've got the tailbone and sit bones reaching forward, arms at your sides. Take an inhale, shrug those shoulders up towards the ears. And now as you slide them down, you're going to nod the chin, flexing forward and up, maintaining your neutral. So we're really isolating from your armpit to your rib cage, sliding you forward, and then controlling it down, and we're going to go again. Shrugging those shoulders up. As you slide them down, you don't just lift the head, you nod the chin, starting a chain reaction, flexing forward from armpits to ribs to hips. And then controlling it right back down. We have two more. Inhale, the shoulders shrug. Exhale, as they slide down, you nod the chin. Armpits to ribs, ribs to hips, hips reaching towards those heels to maintain your neutral. And then controlling it down, we're going up one more time to stay. Inhale to shrug. Exhale, shoulders sliding down, nodding the chin, getting that oranges in your armpit feeling. From here you have options. You can keep your arms reaching in a hover or go hands behind the head supporting the neck. If you do, make sure those elbows stay in your peripheral vision as we take small pulses up. Flex. And lifting from that rib cage. I like to find a wrinkle somewhere in the rib cage portion of my shirt and just think of sliding it forward. I'm not pulling on my head. I'm not pulling on my neck and shoulders. I'm just sliding my armpits and ribs closer to my hips, which are staying forward and in neutral with a heavy tailbone. Let's go for another 8, 7, 6, 5. Breathing as you move. 4. Last one, you pause. If your hands were behind your head, you can take them back at your sides, lowering your head and shoulders. From there, head and shoulders stay back. You're going to scoop your pelvis back into an imprint, tilting and scooping it towards you, and then lengthening it back forward and down into neutral. Again, scooping out those abs into an imprint. The scooping in the abs and the tilted pelvis is more important than just pushing your back down into the mat. And lengthening it forward into neutral. We go one more time. Again, feeling the scoop, feel the tilt, feel that belly button. Pulling away from your t-shirt and towards your spine as you bring one leg up to tabletop. Keep tilting and scooping out those abs. Other leg comes up to meet it. Nice and simple. We're just going to toe dip. Exhale as you lower one leg down towards the floor and scooping it back up, alternating legs. Know that everyone's range is different for this exercise. Even though my toe is tapping the floor, yours might only get halfway down. It is more important to keep that scooping tilt of your pelvis, making sure those abs are pulling away from your t-shirt towards your spine, not pooching out towards the ceiling, than it is to get a big range through that thigh bone. Let's do 4 more here. Breathing as you move for 4. Really trying to feel like the tilt of the abs supports the weight and the hinge of those legs. 2 more. 2. And up. Last one, when that leg comes up, it's going to stay. We're going to add on the first exercise. So your shoulders take a little shrug. Exhale, sliding them down, nod the chin, flexing forward and up. So you're technically doing 2 exercises. Ribs and obliques have your chest up, abs are supporting your legs. Again, arms can stay at your sides or go behind the head supporting the neck. We're going to toe dip one leg down wherever you can easily hold that imprint, but this time we're going to switch. It's like a bent knee scissor. Part of the nice thing about flexion is you get to see what you're doing. Look at that pelvis scooping back towards you. Look at that navel pulling towards the spine. Again, you have options. Hands behind the head supporting the neck. Arms reaching out at your sides. If you are feeling more neck and shoulders than you're feeling abs, lower your head and shoulders. You keep that tilt to the pelvis. I promise your abs are still working. Let's go for 4 more here. Breathing for 4 and 3, 2, last one. Both legs come tabletop. One hand underneath each side for a bit of support as everyone lowers their neck and shoulders down, shaking out that tension a bit. From there, take a reset without hugging your knees closer to your chest. Reset that scoop of your imprint. Nod the chin, flexing forward and up. Both hands are going to go over to your right side. Not to hug the right knee in, but to hold it from going past 90. Left leg reaches to straight where you can keep your imprint, and then you just switch and switch. Pace is up to you. If you stay with me, that's great. If you want to go a little faster or a little slower, that's fine too. It's so much more important to just worry about keeping that tilt to the pelvis and the abdominals scooping in to support the reach of the legs. Once you really feel like you have that scoop of the abs and the reach of the legs, think about that top half a little bit more. Put your ribs slide a little closer to your hips. Lifting your tips of your shoulder blades away from your mat just a little bit more. Let's go for another 4 and 3, 2. Last set. Again, both knees come tabletop. One hand underneath each thigh so you can relax the neck and shoulders a bit. Thigh bone stays, pelvis resets in that scooping imprint. Nodding the chin, flexing forward. Let's go hands behind the head, supporting the neck. You're going to rotate towards one thigh, but you're going to reach the other leg just straight, pulsing your chest up. 4, 3, 2, go the other way. 4, 3, 2, other way. Just 2 and rotate, singles, no pulse. Just going into a simple single leg crisscross, keeping your pelvis and imprint stable. You're not rotating elbow to knee. You're rotating armpit towards opposing hip. Let's go for another set of 6. Breathe, 5. Keeping that imprint, 4. Lifting from that rib cage, 2. Last set, both knees come in, grabbing behind the thighs. This time as you lower your head, stretch those legs up to the ceiling. Let's give a little flex and point. 2 more times. We'll flex and point. Last time when your toes are pointed, pause. If your legs are not perfectly straight, it's fine. But wherever they are right now, they can't bend more. From there, nodding the chin, flexing forward and up. Both hands can go behind your right thigh or calf, but you can't grab behind the knee. Picking one or the other, lower that left leg as low as you can easily hold that scooping imprint without pulling on your leg, but using your ribs. Can you lift a little higher? Take a little pulse of the legs and switch. Pulse, pulse, and switch. Pulse, pulse. Continuing again in your own time, knowing that that pulse is not for your hamstring. I know it can give a hamstring stretch, and that's not a bad thing, but think that second pulse is more about you deepening your abdominal connection, lifting up from that rib cage just a little bit more, breathing on that second pulse. Every time the air goes out, the abs go in. Let's go for another 4. And switch. Again, if your neck and shoulders are kicking in, you can always lower your head and shoulders down, continuing the movement, or staying lifted, going hands behind the head, supporting the neck, but knowing that that is a little bit more challenging. Let's just go one more time. Scoop and switch, and then both legs reach up again. One hand underneath each thigh. As you lower the head, you get to bend the knees once into your chest, but they're going right back up to the ceiling. So reaching those legs up, we're going to turn out, making a V with your feet, and everyone's going to bend their knees just a couple inches, not a lot. Arms are at your sides again, nodding the chin, flexing forward and up. So you're looking through that diamond. Again, arms at your sides or behind the head, supporting the neck. Lower that diamond shape away from you, keeping that tilt to the pelvis, and then you scoop it back up to the ceiling. Range is not always your goal. I care more about stability. So only lower those legs where you can keep the scoop of the abs, that pelvis tilting back towards you. Let's go 4 more, lifting from your rib cage, scooping from those abdominals. Armpits and ribs sliding to the hips, navel pulling to the spine. 2 more, use that breath. Air goes out, abs pull in. One last time, you lower and you lift. Let it hug it. Give it a little rock side to side. Same thing for your head and neck, a little rotation as needed. And then you're going to lower one foot down, grab behind the other thigh, rolling yourself up to sitting. From there, a little bit of side plank. So propping yourself up on your elbow and forearm, knees are just a little bit in front of your hips with your feet back, elbow right underneath your shoulder. Take an inhale, drop into your shoulder. Exhale, lift up and out of it. Do that one more time. Dropping into it. When you lift out of it, you're going to keep that. Keep lifting out of your armpits, your ribs, your obliques. So much so that you can lift your hips off into a hover, making that long diagonal line to your knees. From there, you're just gonna lower the hips down an inch, up an inch. Use those glutes and inner thighs to help support the movement, but really think of isolating it from that bottom rib. You have 4 more here. 4, squeeze and lift. 3, 2, last one, we're gonna pause. If it's available to you, you're gonna reach those legs out to straight. If you need to keep your knees down, that's just fine. And again, we lower and lift, lower and lift. Lifting out of that shoulder, glutes and inner thighs aware. You're almost there. We have 4 more. 4, lift, 3, lift, 2. Next time you lift, all you're gonna do is stay and hold for 8, 7, 6. You're not done yet. 4, 3, 2. On one, instead of lowering down, you're gonna rotate onto both forearms. Elbows underneath shoulders, feet together, or sit bone distance apart is up to you. We're just gonna bend, stretch, bend, stretch. Shoulders open. Think of that focus, more fingertips than forearms. Glutes squeezing. 2. Next time your legs are straight, let's hold for 8, 7. Abs sucking up away from that t-shirt. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down. Give yourself a little quick shell stretch or child's pose. Shaking out the neck and shoulders. And then from there, rolling it up to sitting. And we'll do the other side. So coming onto your right elbow and forearm. Again, knees bent. Try and have a similar angle, a little in front of the hips, but feet are back. And again, you take that shrug. Let it all go. And then feel that orange squeezing in your armpit, lift out of it. One more time. You lower into that shoulder, and then you lift out of it. Trying to maintain that lift, increase that lift so much that you're coming onto your side of your knees. Hips are gonna lower and lift. Down, up, up. Glutes and inner thighs squeezing together. Shoulders dropping away from that ear. 4, 3, 2. Last one. Again, you can stick with this, but if it's available to you, try and go legs straight, reaching out to that full side plank, down and up. Glutes and inner thighs squeezing together, finding that bottom rib to help lift you up for 4, 3, 2. Next time you go up, all you gotta do is stay. Give me 8 counts. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Again on one, you're not done. You're gonna rotate onto both elbows and forearms. Body's nice and long, shoulders back. We're gonna switch. Right knee and left knee. Right knee and left knee. Let's try a little faster for 8, 7. Glutes are squeezing. Abs turn on. Breathe through it. Almost there. 4, 3, 2. Last set of knee switching. Now you've got an 8 count hold. 8, 7. Abs lift up. Chest is open. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down. Again, breathe. Give yourself a little shell stretch or child's pose for 4, 3, 2. On 1, rolling it up to sitting. We're going to do a little articulation abdominal work to finish. So we're going to have knees bent, either together or sit bone distance apart is up to you. I'd consider sit bone distance if you do have a tight low back. One hand underneath each thigh, sitting nice and tall. Take an inhale. Exhale, you're just going to breathe, scooping your pelvis back into that imprint, walking the hands down the thigh bones as needed. Belly button leads the way. Head and arms are going to go back and take a nice big open circle around to the sides, nodding the chin as they come towards the hips, flexing forward. Again, use those hands underneath those thighs as needed, reaching forward towards the toes. As much as I'm rounding and letting my neck and shoulders hang here, my abdominals are still connected. And then rolling up to sitting, same thing, we'll reverse the circle. So deepening those abs, rolling back. Again, hands behind those thigh bones as needed for a little bit of resistance as you peel through. Arms opening out to reverse that circle back. Arms float up to the ceiling. Nodding the chin, shoulders down, ribs down. Make sure your head and shoulders don't poke forward. Keeping them open. scooping out the abs. Again, fingertips behind the thighs as needed. This time when you come forward, straighten those legs. Give those hamstrings a little bit of love as you reach forward. This time, rolling straight back off of your sit bones. Legs are reaching out. Knees are softening again as needed. Hands underneath those thighs as needed to roll you through the spine. Arms are going to go back this time, and you're going to let them hang. You're going to take what I call a starfish moment. Letting your shoulders go, letting your hips go, just being that big open X. And then when you're ready, first the feet rotate back parallel, together apart, still up to you. And then you breathe, feeling those shoulders and ribs slide down to float the arms up. Nodding the chin towards the chest, just like we started the hour. Flexing those feet, softening the knees, scooping out the abs, reaching forward, giving those hamstrings a little bit of a stretch. Shoulders staying away from those ears as you do. And then rolling up to sitting. We're going to lay on your stomach and do a little bit of extension just to balance things out. So laying on your belly. Legs are going to be turned out into a V. Elbows bent into a goalpost at your sides. Your glutes are aware. Imagine you have an ice cube underneath your belly button so your abs are turned on. You're going to slide the shoulder blades back, lifting your chest up just to a hover. Forearms are staying down, not very big. I think we just did a lot of flexion from your rib cage. This is your chance to extend and open, letting your body go the other direction. And then you control it back down. We'll do one more like this. You slide the shoulders back. You lift that chest and head up to a hover. It should feel good. Open the shoulders, open the chest. Just keep that ice cube underneath your belly button turned on. And then controlling it down. You can stick with this or we're going to add on. So your shoulders slide back. You lift into that same hover. But now you're going to put a little pressure in the heels of your hands. Heeling yourself up a little bit higher into swan. Straight arms are lovely, but they're not necessary. You can always go to a slightly bent elbow, but go more importantly where you can keep your shoulders down and that ice cube underneath your belly button turned on. Breathe, open through the chest and shoulders, and then when you're ready, heeling it down through the front of the spine, lengthening out, and then we're going to go back and take one last shell stretch or child's pose. Letting your head and neck hang, breathing into those ribs and abs, and then rolling it up to sitting nice and tall. You are all set. Thank you for joining me for 15-minute abs.